This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Philippines, good evening. Maayong gabi sa Tibok Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. Kay Falhal, marhaban kay Falik. Ito po ang Republika. Ako si Eric Espina. Well, Republika will be starting on a series of programs, what I call the Senate series. This is the profiling of probables who will be asking for perhaps your attention, your votes, in the coming 2019 national elections. And to be able to get a better handle on profiling who they are, we have none other than a favorite guest. We have Toti Casiño and his Senate Crusade. Good evening, Toti.
Mayong gabi, and good evening to all your viewers.
Oh, okay. Toti is from Mindanao, by the way. So Toti is from Mindanao. So Toti, you've guested several times in this program. We've discussed the ails and the disease of our democratic process in terms of computerized elections. Why are you now deciding to go into the quagmire of politics and the techno-cheating?
All right, good question. It's a catch-22, damn if you do, damn if you don't. And probably you've already seen us and heard us, that many times we've attended the Senate committee hearings, the Joint Congressional Oversight Committee, and actually the evidence is already glaring, as bright as sun, bright as day. Yet the chairing of officials from both houses, Senate and Congress, seems to turn a blind eye or a deaf ear on this. And what reason do we have not to pursue this? If it constantly, all those that the chair on that Joint Congressional Oversight always play coy on our issues. And it seems that the same circle of advocates, regardless of which Congress, be it on the 17th or 15th or 16th, we're airing the same views. New evidence are being presented, some already recycled. Yet it's the same matter. There's no more time. We have to use Smartmatic. We have to do this, to do that. When all the while that we have already airing that they should have even conducted the Joint Congressional Oversight Committee immediately 1 year, within 1 year after election, and they held it past 1 year. So there's blatant violation by both houses as far as the law is concerned. And where else could we go but even throw the towel into the ring and join the race? Of course, it's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge, considering that the technology we are up against, the one running it.
Yes.
And to us, we would like to see whether the Duterte formula would work. What is the Duterte formula? We're looking at a tsunami support, not a landslide support. Why a tsunami support? Well, it already proven that in spite of all the fraud and cheating they could amass and do with the Duterte campaign, they couldn't even foil it. The avalanche, that type of support. Getting as much as like 21 million, but based on our estimates, if you look at the survey, at 80% support passing rate in a voting population of let's say 45 million out of 55 registered voters, you should easily get 32 million votes. But you only got 21 million votes. So how much votes was shaved off? Easily 5 million. So it's not only a 5 million margin. You could have easily taken up as much as about 10 or even 12 million or 15 million for that, for as long as they had it correct. And we're looking forward, not only for my sake, for new candidates with new faces, new personalities, who got bright ideas that can do better for this country. And we are just a voice. We are just a symbol. This crusade that we're doing is not only for our own benefit, it's for the benefit of the future generation. And I would imagine, your viewers would imagine, is there hope in this country? And we feel like, we've already reached that stage that we're already done doing this, been there, done that. We want to retire. But then the fight has not yet been won. The battle is still ongoing, right? So if we relax our defenses and then let the rest, the younger generation, we look at the younger generation, they're no different from the present crop of, dirty politicians. So might as well go challenge them and then have a face-off. If they're ready for a debate, we would really look up to that, if they could provide that. Even mainstream media, for that matter. I mean, except for your station, GNN, they're the only ones giving us good quality content on air. But the rest, they literally give you garbage. And I guess the public knows that. And how come we're not getting that media mileage that, the public deserves, the citizens deserve?
It's like tailored fit, no?
Exactly. And why? Because it's all money politics. Money politics.
You said a lot of things, Toti, and these are just some of the few notes that I took. You said there's a deaf ear. Why do you suspect that the lower house and the upper house has a deaf ear on such a very substantive issue? Okay,
it's very clear on the amended automated election law, Republic Act 9369, that says that the Joint Congressional Oversight Committee should convene within 1 year after an election held. We had a 2010 election using this technology, a 2013 election, and again a 2016 election. The 2013 election, at the 2010, within a year's time, they came up with a hearing. But little did they know that they thought it was a success. Little did they expect that there will be a band of anti-PICOs, if you might use the term, that gave up all the information that it was showing evidence that it could not be a success. Came 2013, they delayed it a bit. 2016 is beyond 1 year, it's almost 2 years that they convened it. And when you hear the testimonies presented, not by our organization, the Philippine Computer Society, but really stakeholders themselves, from the party of Governor, was it, or Congressman Luis Miguel Ferte recently, and now the vice presidential candidate Bongbong Marcos, that there are indications, even exposed by the Senate Majority Floor Leader then, and now Senate President Tito Soto, that there are already gaps, the audit logs, that already say that it's highly questionable. Now, why did they not subject this for further? Only on that particular evidence. You don't have to talk about the others, though. What is the reason behind that gap? And you get this lame excuse, allowing COMELEC to respond on the next hearing. And then when you come to the next hearing, which is delayed another month or two, they don't even come up with a reply. So that's the kind of deaf ear you're going to get from the one sitting as chair.
Is it possible, Toti, and I'm just asking this, no, and you're in the best position to answer this. There is a deaf ear going on simply because they are themselves recipients of...
Exactly. They are the direct beneficiaries. Because how can you question the prosecutor, the juror, and the judge? They're the same person, right? And if you're going to say, okay, here is the elected officials, elected through an election, and then the ones manning the COMELEC, sitting there as the oversight committee, trying to question the body that's supposed to put them in power, will question that. So there's a conflict of interest. There is no independence.
They don't want to create a self-inflicted wound. That's what you're saying.
Of course, and by all means, that's why where we stand in the party that I represent, the Katipunan ng Demokratikong Pilipino, which is a new political party, one of the primary campaign platforms is to stop electoral fraud, oust Smartmatic. And that alone is already a battle cry. Whether we win or lose, we were going to mouth that all over the countryside, even overseas, for all overseas workers, to understand that this election is not trustworthy.
Toti, are there current sitting senators that were beneficiaries of the Smartmatic card?
Definitely. You just look at the results in the past election. In the 2016 election, you have number one, Franklin Drilon. Historically, he's never been number one. He's down below the bottom six. And then you have a seconder by the person of Joel Villanueva, who is a complete unknown except for his father being a pastor, beating all popular candidates like Lauren Legarda or Chis Escudero or whoever the other more seasoned politicians, and then they ranked number 2, and then the rest of there, like a certain Win Gatchalian, straight from the private sector, never served. I don't know if he served in the local position as a congressman, I really don't know that much. But he won in the seat in the Senate. So how could all these people, with all the money that they got, I mean, we're talking about tons and tons of money, get ever to be elected? If not, they were able to be co-opted by the operators of the election system.
Toti, you were talking about the Duterte formula, tsunami, avalanche. Some people will say what happened to Duterte was sui generis. So there's only one Rodrigo Duterte in presidential elections. No?
Right.
Ever since we became a multi-party system, Duterte was the oddball out, no?
Yeah.
Because usually they would win just by a few margin, no, in terms of the votes, no. But here Duterte was like overwhelming. So KDP is hoping to replicate.
Okay, let's put it in a more better analysis. All right, it's not that we are here backing up or supporting Duterte as the person. All right, but his policy stance, his administration is something that is of something of a fresh new air that we start to breathe. You know, a true reformist.
Yeah.
You would like to see that. But of course, there are some flaws in the way things are being run under his administration. But because you see, the entire bureaucracy is still penetrated by the old traditional officials.
My point that I'm saying is, you're hoping that KDP will be able to get an avalanche.
Okay, we're looking here the same way that Duterte had, as a symbol of protest votes.
Okay.
That's the formula we're looking at.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because when we see that the people are fed up with the kind of politics that they have, we're looking at KDP to have the same heart of as a protest vote, that done with this, been there, done that, we've already tested this formula, it does not work. Who's the alternative? KDP is the alternative, a clean slate. Because if you just say, like my person there, it still be preoccupied by those who are corrupt. So they have to have a clean slate, take out all those who are campaigning for the for the other parties that has been in administration for the longest time, and come up with a fresh news list, and then consider that as a protest vote. That's the formula that we're looking at.
Categorical statement, Toti. The coming elections in 2019 will be more of the same.
Yes. Now.
Okay, we're going to pause for a few reminders. I'll cut you there when Republika returns.